When Jillian told Fang Yi about meeting Elder Wu, someone immediately said in surprise, "You mean that Vedra Realm Venerable?" Then Jalen explained, "Yes, he is my mentor. I think you should meet him. I don't know if you're willing or not. It's just my personal thought. I really want to be friends with you." Hearing her words, Fang Yi smiled, placed the token Jan had given him into his pocket, and raised his hand. Activating his thunder power, he laughed. Fang Yi said, "All right then. More friends mean more paths ahead. I'll go with you this time. And this, consider it a gift between friends." As he said this, he immediately used his thunder power on Jillian. The thunder struck her body, but it didn't harm her. Instead, this thunder attribute began to help her. All the injuries on her body started to heal. Seeing this, Jillian thought to herself, this thunder attribute actually has a healing effect. Now I can feel my entire body tingling. The areas that were cold and painful before are now warm, and the discomfort has disappeared. The wounds that were corroded by black mist are healing. The damaged organs seem to be returning to their former healthy state. The meridians and blood vessels in my body are being cleansed and realigned. All the toxins in my body have been completely eliminated by this rare thunder attribute. It's unbelievable. It feels like I've been reborn. I can only feel my entire body tingling. The areas that were cold and painful before are now warm. The discomfort has disappeared. The wounds that were corroded by the black mist are healing. The damaged organs seem to be returning to their former healthy states. The meridians and blood vessels in my body are being cleansed and realigned. All the toxins in my body have been completely eliminated by this rare thunder attribute. It's unbelievable. It feels like I've been reborn. This continued. After finishing, Fang Ye asked her how she was feeling now. Jalen looked at her body and said with a smile, "I'm fine. All the remaining dark attributes in my body have been completely removed." "No," Borlai chattered. Meanwhile, on the other side in the ambulance, doctors were checking on the injured warrior. After examining him, they said in shock, "Even someone to be injured like this at the first stage of the spirit creation realm, can he even be safe?" Right in front of the ambulance stood Su King, who turned to look toward Fang Yi and Jilan. Walking up to them, she first asked Jilan, "You're still here?" Then, after observing her for a moment, she said in surprise, "Wait a second. I sense something different about you." Jilan smiled and said, "Yes, a rare and pure thunder attribute. It completely cleansed all the dark energy within my body." Hearing this, Su King looked at Fang Yi and said, "So this is the thunder attribute of the tyrant. It can destroy enemies and save lives." Hearing her words, Fang Yi chuckled and said, "Hey, what are you looking at?" Su King immediately waved to the doctors, calling them over. Then turning back to Fang Yi with an innocent tone, she said, "Oh, I was just looking. I wanted to ask, can we perhaps work with you? If we could combine your spiritual power with medical equipment, we might be able to save even more pioneers afflicted by dark attributes." Our hero, Fang Yi, once again summoned thunder in his hand and asked everyone present, would that work? The doctor observed the thunder in Fang Yi's hand carefully, then said excitedly, "It seems possible. It really is. Such pure and high-level thunder attribute energy can indeed destroy dark energy." Galen, who was standing behind them, spoke in a serious tone. "Just now, Fang Yi directly transferred his energy into me, and the dark attribute inside my body was shattered. So, wouldn't it work if Fang Yi simply held hands with the injured pioneers?" The doctor nodded thoughtfully. "That could work." But Su King immediately rubbed her forehead and said, No. Not every spirit creation realm cultivator can handle such powerful spiritual energy." Another doctor beside her agreed. "Yes, Commander Su King. Although your injuries are severe by our assessment, they're only at a light level. To heal the injured warrior from earlier completely would require 10 times your thunder power. Even if we managed to save his life and wake him up, a full recovery would be impossible." Then the doctor turned to Fang Yi and said, "Please come over to the ambulance." Fang Yi walked toward them and said with a smile, "All right, so it's like a blood transfusion, right? How do I transfer my spiritual power to you? Will you store it for later use?" At this time, the doctors brought out a device. Another doctor explained, "Please place your hand inside, then release your spiritual energy." Standing nearby was Lin Ye, who looked at her cousin in awe and thought, "I never imagined that Commander Su King would actually be a high-ranking member of the Star God War Zone. And my cousin. He's managed to make such a powerful organization extend an olive branch to him and even show him special treatment. The cold and proud Commander Su King even personally requested to befriend him. I even saw her give him her personal token." Fang Yi's gaze fell on Lin Yi, and he asked her directly, "How are you doing?" Lin Ye smiled and replied, "Cousin, we've already adjusted everything. Next, I want to continue training and take on a few missions. We can't keep relying on you forever. Otherwise, we won't improve at all." As she spoke, she thought to herself, "I can't keep being a burden anymore. I have to catch up to my cousin's pace as soon as possible." Fang Yi had already withdrawn his hand from the device, smiled, and said, "All right, stay safe." Himself, "The kids are still growing up." At that moment, Su King said, "Well then, we'll take our leave. Let's meet again on our next mission if fate allows." Tielen also said, "Let's go. We should visit Elder Wu." Everyone went their separate ways. Meanwhile, Su King was seen with her team driving away in another vehicle, muttering angrily, "Let them act all high and mighty. Let them skip the site visits. And now look, the Star God War Zone has snatched the person right from under our noses. All my efforts these past days have gone to waste." The woman driving beside her tried to calm her down, saying, "Relax, Captain Su. Calm down." However, Su King, deep in thought, was fuming silently. The structure of the spiritual association is still too chaotic. Many of the officials in both headquarters and branch divisions act even more arrogant than the military high ranks. The elite squads are scattered. And not only are they unwilling to lower themselves to build a good relationship with Fang Ye, but some of those hot-headed fools even cause trouble when they come. What a mess. After that, Jalen brought our hero to the highest level ward of the Star God War Zone's medical base. On the bed lay Elder Wu, his body frail and lifeless. Jalen softly explained, "This is Mr. Lanchin. Strange, isn't it? The absolute powerhouse of the Vajra realm. And yet, he looks like nothing more than a dry, withered old man. His condition used to be even worse. He looked like a corpse. Even after using the losing temper flower, he still hasn't regained consciousness." Hearing this, our hero asked in astonishment, "What exactly did he go through?" Jalen took a deep breath and began, "When the dark attribute, a calamity descended upon the capital, and the heavens themselves changed. The sky was torn apart by darkness. To prevent the dark anomaly from consuming the entire capital, my teacher used his own body to seal the rift. All of us had already used a special method to channel our spiritual power into him. We estimated this dark calamity to be above Siglass. Though we have encountered terrifying Flash dark tide before, this disaster's destructive power was several times greater. Once it appeared, it could destroy the entire capital and even spread to the nearby cities. The capital holds a unique importance. If it were destroyed, the entire nation would fall into chaos. My teacher forcefully sealed the Siglass anomaly using his own domain, but we didn't expect it to require the combined strength of all of us just to suppress it. It was far more terrifying than anything we imagined. The dark attribute backfired upon my teacher. If he hadn't been of Vader realm venerable, he would have turned to ashes on the spot or worse, become nourishment for the dark anomaly itself. Hearing this, Fang Yi said quietly, "To stop the destruction of an entire city, what an incredible pioneer he must be." Then, looking at Elder Wu's frail form, he thought, back then too, there were so many pioneers who stood in front of me, who gave me the chance to survive as the last human. Perhaps in that past life, he had already sacrificed himself at this very moment. Without another word, Fang Yi raised his hand toward Elder Wu. Seeing this, Jilin immediately grew tense and asked in alarm, "What are you planning to do to Master?" As thunder energy began to gather around his palm, Fang Ye calmly said, "Don't worry. Although the losing temper flower has already taken effect, I still want to try something to see if I can remove some of the stubborn dark attributes lingering inside him. That way, he might wake up faster." "What? But this isn't class calamity," Jalen exclaimed. But then, remembering everything Fang Ye had done before, she fell silent for a moment and then said softly, "All right, fine. Try it once. Maybe you're the miracle we've been waiting for. But you must be careful. This dark attribute is far more terrifying than anything within the dark time. Otherwise, even after using the losing temper flower, my teacher wouldn't still be recovering so slowly." Fang Yi nodded lightly. "I know. I can feel it. The darkness inside him is unimaginably powerful. Even after being weakened and suppressed by the purifying force of the losing temper flower, it still exudes a crushing pressure. As soon as his thunder power entered Elder Wu's body, the entire area suddenly darkened. Dark energy began to leak from Elder Wu's body, filling the room with an eerie aura. Seeing this, Jolin shouted, "Fang Ye, focus your mind and be careful." But Fang Ye's hand remained on Elder Wu's chest, his thunder energy flowing continuously into him, battling the corruption inside. Moments later, as he kept his focus, his vision suddenly blurred. and when he opened his eyes, he saw something terrifying, a gigantic crimson eye floating high in the sky, staring straight down at him. Fang Ye's expression hardened as he muttered, "It pulled my consciousness into the